I want to thank everybody who came out too and just acknowledge what a scary time it is right now in our community. I also want to acknowledge that we're here because of the police murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, but also because of 400 years of anti-Black laws and systems and patterns of violence that have happened both nationally and locally. And I know that healing is a painful and confusing and nonlinear process. I do believe our brightest futures lie ahead, but we will only get there by committing together to fundamentally change our course and heal from our histories, both nationally and here locally. I know there's more need for listening, learning, and accountability from white politicians, which includes me and all of us, from white protesters, which also includes me and some of us, and then from the police. From white politicians, we need to do everything in our power to end the conditions that lead to institutional violence against Black lives. That includes police violence, the war on drugs and mass incarceration, economic violence, and the unchecked privatized housing system. We need to recognize that all the de-escalation training in the world is not worth much when the go-to strategy for controlling a diverse crowd of youth and young adults is still domination through violence. I believe that's might makes right, and we have to explore different ways by learning from our community. We need to recognize that the implicit bias training and community outreach is not worth much when Black and brown people in our city are still harassed and afraid of police on the daily, and we hear about this all the time. Our community needs to be able to trust that officers who actively uphold racism on the job will be fired. Our department does not have that credibility currently. Without community trust, misconduct investigations are of little use. Police guilds protect dangerous officers who should not be there. And in those circumstances, the only meaningful intervention to address it is funding. So today I'm amplifying calls for our organization from the Black community, Black leaders, both here and around the country, to demilitarize and defund our police department and divert that funding to community strategies for safety and restorative justice, harm reduction programs, and housing for all. I believe we should end our participation in the war on drugs. One easy step would be to rescind the enhanced penalty zones in downtown Olympia. Terminate the employment of OPD officers with a history of complaints from Black and Indigenous people of color. We could immediately pass the just cause eviction ordinance to reduce evictions, which disproportionately send Black and brown families onto the streets. And we can create an equity and justice commission where our local community members could be appointed to evaluate current and future city policies for racial equity indicators and help develop new policies to improve quality of life for all in our community. And finally, I just want to say, after the last couple of nights of confusion in the streets, including some of which I witnessed firsthand downtown last night, I'm asking white protesters in our community to check ourselves and our relationship to the Black community in Olympia. I love young people who are willing to defend justice, and I support you. And I also love the people who have challenged me to learn more about solidarity and centering Black and Indigenous people of color in our movements. We, the white people who believe in freedom and justice for all, must continue to learn what it means to center and defend Black lives. We must listen to what our Black neighbors are asking of us, and we must practice this now. Thank you.